Hey, great tryouts, dudes. You rode some killer waves this week.
Thanks, Brawly.
Boy, I hope I made the team. I sure had a hard time staying up on my board a few times this week.
Yeah, it was pretty tough, even though Max and I practiced all week.
Remember, the top 3 surfers get a place on the Board Blasters team. Check in tomorrow and I'll announce the winners.
Gotcha. So, 6 of us tried out. You, Max, Lizzie, RJ, Jeff, and me.
But only 3 of us are going to make the team. How's Brawly going to figure out the 3 best surfers?
I guess we need to compare how we all did. Let's ask Ada at the Learning League lab for some help. Hi, Ada. We're here at our friend Brawly's surfing tryouts.
How's it going?
Well, that's why I called you. We want to figure out how Brawly will pick the 3 winners. We're not sure how he'll compare how we all did this week.
Ah, I see. Well, did you have any ideas about how he might do that?
Well, out of all the waves I surfed, maybe he'd look up how many times I stayed up.
Sounds like you're on the right track. The way we represent that idea is through percents. We use them here at the lab almost every day.
Really?
Sure. Like when I got up this morning and listened to the weather report. The forecaster said there's an 80% chance of rain today. Definitely a day for staying indoors. And how about when you check out the top hitters in baseball? Did you know that a player's batting average is a percentage? It's the player's number of hits out of his or her total times at bat.
Cool. That's kind of like us comparing who's good at surfing. The number of good rides out of total rides at the surfing tryout, right?
You got it.
But how come one number looks different than the other?
Aha! Let's take a closer look. Here's a little brain game to expand your sense of percents. Remember, percent means part out of 100. So, let's say you spent a whole day surfing and tried to ride 100 waves on your surfboard, but stayed up only 25 times. The percent of times you stayed up would be 25 out of 100, or 25%. We can show this by coloring 25 boxes in this grid.
25%! I did that on the first day of surfing.
Okay, so with practice you'd get better, right? Imagine that on another day, you stayed up on 70 out of 100 wave rides.
70 out of 100? That would be 70%, right? That's much better.
Exactly. And we're just denting the surface of percents. Percents can also be written in different ways. One way is as a fraction. For example, you might also say that you stayed up on 2/5 of your rides. You can use a grid diagram to show this too, by first dividing the grid into fifths and then coloring 2 sections.
2/5 is the same as 40%. Awesome!
Percents can be written as decimals too. So if your surfing success rate was 0.6, you'd change 0.6 to the fraction 6/10 and then fill in the grid. 0.6 is the same as 6/10 or 60 hundredths or
60%! I'm getting it! The grids make it so much easier to see.
Works every time! And here's a tip. You can use grid diagrams to help you compare percents, fractions, and decimals. Check out those surfing results again. According to the grids, which was your best day?
That's easy. The one where I stayed up on 70% of my rides.
And which was your next best day?
The 0.6 day?
Excellent! The grids show that 70% is greater than 0.6 or 60 100ths. Now, let's fill in the rest of the numbers.
Let's do it! I've got the scores for all of the surfers right here. Look, here's Jeff's score. He stayed on his board for 55% of his rides. Here's May's score. She stayed up on 4/5 of her rides. Here's Lizzie's score, 0.3. Looks like Max stayed up on 3/4 of his rides. Wow, 85% of RJ's rides were good ones. And last of all, my score, 0.7. Hope it's good enough.
Find the grid diagram that matches this score. Click the arrows to scroll the grids. When the matching grid is next to the score, click Check.
That's it! We need to add this to our records. Yup. Yup. That's it! Yup. Excellent! We matched all the scores. Come on, click continue so we can compare the scores to find the top 3 contestants. And check it out! 6 contestants, 6 scores, and 6 grids. Help me put them in size order.
Check out the grids. Then drag the highest surfing score to the first space on the bottom of the screen. Now drag the other surfers' scores to the spaces at the bottom of the screen. Put them in size order, from highest to lowest. When you're finished, click Check.
You got it! RJ's 85% is the highest score. Good going! Now we know the top 3 surfers. RJ, May, and Max. Hey, that means I didn't make the team.
Well, you can't win every time, Ash.
Yeah, but I was so close. Just 5% less than Max.
You did your best. That's what's most important. Always.
Well, I guess I am happy for Max, May, and RJ. They're gonna be so excited.
Now that's the spirit. Talk to you later, Ash.
Hey, I know. Even though I'm not on the team, I heard Brawly was also looking for someone to take photos of the show. That was awesome. I took lots of photos and I used them to keep track of each surfer's score. Come on, let's check to see who was the best surfer in the show. Look, here's May's score. She stayed on her board for 9/10 of her rides. Here's Max's score. He stayed up on 60% of his rides. Here's RJ's score, 0.8. Last of all, here's Brawly's score, 95%.
Move your cursor over the grid to fill in the squares that you need to build your chart. Start at the bottom. Click on any squares you want to remove. When you're finished, click Check.
That's it! Let's keep going! Yup! Let's keep going! Yup! Let's keep going! That's it!
Now, click Continue to compare the scores to find the top surfer.
Alright, here are all the scores for the Board Blaster team. Help me put them in size order, from highest to lowest.
When you're finished, click Check.
Great job! 95% is greater than 9/10. 9/10 is greater than 0.8. and 0.8 is greater than 60%. Amazing! Brawly stayed up 95% of the time. He's definitely the best surfer. Go Brawly! You guys were great!
Totally awesome, dude! And did you see May? She stayed up on 90% of her rides.
It was so amazing!
Thanks for taking pictures, Ash.
And for figuring out our scores.
Hey, it's not a problem now that I know that grid trick. Of course! Thanks for your help, too.
It's all about teamwork.
You said it.
Oops, no match action here. This grid shows 95%. Remember, percent means part out of 100. The numerator tells how many sections of the grid should be shaded. Remember, first change the decimal to a fraction. Remember, divide the grid into sections based on the denominator of the fraction. Be sure the shaded part matches the percent number.
Try again.
The highest score is greater than Max's score. The highest score grid has the most shaded boxes. Be sure the scores go from highest to lowest. The grids with more shaded boxes show higher scores. The grid with the fewest shaded boxes shows the lowest score. The highest score is greater than Ash's score. Hey, be sure the colored part of the grid matches the score amount. Keep looking and try again. That's a good start, but some of the scores are in the wrong spots. Try again.